Hello and welcome back to Team Draft Super League. I'm William Jensen along with Alexander Hain.
Hey,
We're going
everyone.
to cover Reed Duke and Steve Rubin. We got our backs against the wall again, like we were wont to do. And
It's kind of your style, right?
yeah, that's our style. We need to win 3 in a row, so I'm certain we're going to win 2 in a row. We'll see what happens in the third one.
All right. I mean, well, what do you feel about Reed's matchup against Steve in this? He's got like the 2 counter spells for Steve's like bomb rare.
Yeah, it's pretty good because Steve has a 2-card deck basically. Like the rest of his deck is just kind of a bunch of filler, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part. So Reed matches up well there. Nicole Bolas is a tricky card. Nicole Bolas is a really good finisher, but if you're behind, it's pretty bad usually.
Yeah. Because it basically just casts like a random spell in their deck that's usually not good enough for the mana you're paying.
Right, and oftentimes these decks just have a lot of nonsense in them. I mean, like if you hit a Countervailing Winds or a Scarab Feast or whatever, who cares? That actually comes up a fair amount. I haven't looked over, Reed's deck list with an eye of Nicole Bolas, but whatever, Nicole Bolas is obviously very strong. If there's ever parity, or if you're able to get it and play and defend it, you win. So. There's that.
It should be an interesting one to see. So do you guys just feel it's like too easy if like you try in the first few matches? You just like let the other team, pull ahead and then just win the last four?
I tried. It's very hard. You can only try so hard against a Scorpion God. There's very little you can do. Either you have like basically my deck has 1 card that can deal with it, and I didn't draw it, and Steve put it into play like on turn 5 both games. So whatever, I died very quickly. And then our match was whatever. Game 2 was somewhat close, but my deck is obviously not great, but I think it looks worse than it is because of the rares that were opened. Like everybody just has cards I can't beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I know your deck's like good for getting like trying to trade 1-for-1 a bunch and then like get a few 2-for-1s here and there, and like that doesn't work if someone just goes way over the top.
And just grind out a game with like Torment of Scarabs and a couple Scrounger Souls or whatever to gain some life. But then it's like everybody has Samorn Convergence and Nicole Bolas and the Scarab God, and it's like the Scorpion God. It's like Hour of Eternity. I'm like, all right, fine,
Yeah.
We're gonna send it down to the match though. Here we go. Looks like Steve has no lands.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll keep?
Got...
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh. Got this hand is a little bit better. I mean, he's got the Tormenting Voice if he hits another land.
I'd probably keep it. Yeah. Reed's hand's okay, but it's pretty slow. It has a lot of mana and nothing really to ramp into. I'm not sure if Steve scryed to the top or bottom.
Me neither. I really hope the top, but you never know, right?
Well, he drew a land in any case, so.
Yeah. What do you discard with your voice here?
I probably would have discarded. I don't know. I wouldn't have discarded Nicole Bolas. Maybe.
Right.
Wildfire Eternal's probably fine, but you don't have any black, so.
Yeah, that's what makes it interesting.
Yep.
I would have considered keeping it just in case you drew more red.
Mountain, yeah. I mean, he only has 1 island, so it's not super likely to draw red. Also...
Yeah, Torment's really good against Reed, too, so...
Yeah, it is.
You can't discard that, and then if you draw a Swamp, like, you have a play here. So Reed is probably... Yeah, he just adds his mana producer. He's got a couple flyers to ramp into, so...
Yeah, and even ramp into the Embalm.
Yeah, right.
After trading with the Blighted Bat in theory.
Yeah, so I mean this definitely looks like a game that's going pretty well for Reed. He's getting to do kind of everything he wants to do, and
This Torment...
Steve does have... Yeah.
This Torment is a pain, though.
Right. He doesn't have enough mana, though, that when he gets low, like, he can even sack his guys and embalm them back.
That's true. Also, the wall doesn't do anything right now.
Yeah, and the Manolith is going to become irrelevant soon enough.
True.
Also, funny thing, every land that he discards, he can actually just play with the...
Yeah, that's a good point.
So he could have potentially like discarded his swamp this turn, but he wanted to get the Manolith into play.
Do you block here if you read? I mean, I guess, assuming Steve attacks, maybe he won't if he played a creature first.
Yeah, I guess he's not attacking, but I think with the way your hand is, I'd probably look at Steve's deck list, and I don't know, I would lean towards blocking. You just have like the embalm, and you have a lot of mana, so it's not going to be that big an issue to embalm it back.
Right. I think I would have attacked if I were Steve.
Yeah. I guess Steve is on the game plan of just trying to survive until Bolas.
Yeah.
But, there's a chance the Reed doesn't block, and then you get to jet him. I guess he's planning to cycle the jet.
I suppose. It's a lot of ambuscades.
Yeah. Okay, so he decided not to cycle the jet. Not quite sure what his game plan is. I think it would have been better to attack if he was planning to block.
No, I mean, Reed takes 13 from Jet into Bolas.
Yeah, that is true.
He's at 12, so... I mean, it makes sense from my perspective to just try to cast the Jet if you draw land, and then just try to hit your 7th land before you... Yeah. I mean, Reed does have 2 countervailing winds, so whatever, but, I mean, I think it's a reasonable line.
Yeah, I guess he has enough life that he could potentially do that.
Although I don't know if
he draws a land.
I don't know without having a blocker if it's going to be enough now.
Yeah,
which I think is what he's thinking about, because he's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It depends what Reed does, but
yeah, Reed's got at least 7 this turn, and then 7 the next, or you could have 5 this turn and 10 the next.
Right. So I mean, it seems like Reed can finish Steve off in 3 attacks, but Steve will need at least 2 more turns to cast both his cards.
Yeah.
So
it's tight.
It's close. Yeah.
Yeah. And we know Reed has the ambuscades. So does that potentially change the math? On the last turn, he can attack for 5 and then 12.
It would change the math in the event he drew a creature he could play. Oh wow, that changes the math.
That definitely changed the math.
Yeah, with the with the excavator.
Yeah, it's just a pretty big beating, actually.
Yeah. So the question here is, what does Reed do? Like, there's a universe where Reed decides his best play is just attack for 5, embalm the initiate, and then play the Oasis out of the graveyard next turn after discarding it.
Right.
And if he does that, I don't think he has enough to kill Steve next turn.
Yeah, it's also, of course, if Steve draws a land, he can play Bolas and just kill a creature.
Yeah, that's a bit optimistic, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if he has to do that to stay alive, then he hopes that Reed at some point takes another hit from the Torment.
Yeah, so I think... So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. Yeah, I mean, 14. So I guess... It's funny, like, if Reed, I think, played the Oasis, he would win.
He doesn't have enough green mana to activate it twice, though, right?
No, just to use his wall. Like, I think...
Right.
Like, I think his next turn, as it sits, he won't be able to use the Oasis and Ambuscade. So even if all his creatures connect, it's only going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. And then he can do 1 with the wall is 14, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's got 10 in play, the wall's 11, 3 from the... And he'll be missing 1 mana to be able to cast the Ambuscade, yeah.
So Steve bricked. So Steve's going to need to draw a land that comes into play untapped next turn. I don't know if he has any other way to deal 3 damage. He might.
Yeah, I don't know. He's gonna. It's pretty exciting here, actually. I think, unless Reed draws countervailing winds, in which case it becomes unexciting again. But well, he didn't. He drew an untapped land. Let's see if Steve can do the same on his turn, because I think your math is correct. Reed can bring him down to 1 life and with a wall in play.
So just looking over, Limits of Solidarity might do it.
Yeah, if Reed brings him to 1, then he can steal the wall and attack. I guess this is also what Reed's thinking about as well.
Yeah, like Reed's probably going to look at the deck list. He'll know he's dead to Nicol Bolas. He'll probably do something where he doesn't die to Limits of Solidarity, would be my guess. Yeah. Like he'll leave 1 Ambuscade up, or just not cast 1 right now, or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, he'll probably just use his Oasis and then attack with probably his Flyer and his Excavator or something. Maybe he could probably even attack with the other Flyer, but don't think it really matters. Like, at this point, with Ambuscade up and Forest in hand that he can discard, he's not going to lose to Steve playing any creatures. So
I agree. To Steven, maybe it doesn't matter. He has plenty of permanents to sack anyway. I was thinking if Steve had discard spells. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to come down to Steve drawing an untapped land or not.
Right. I mean, it started from a game where Steve had kept a 1-lander, so him getting to cast.
But he got the Tormenting Voice on turn 2.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But it is interesting that we're seeing whether he can draw his 7th land to cast a Bolas.
Steve's going to draw Ruin Rat. That's my prediction.
I'm predicting Basic Mountain.
Wow, you're an odds guy. Boring.
I mean, if you for you to be more interesting, you're supposed to hope that he draws Traveler's
Amulet. Right? Yeah, of course. I mean, that's just token though. That's a token enemy thing to say.
I mean, at this point, after all your success, aren't you guys kind of like the heel of the team format?
I don't know. I hope not. I don't think Reed can ever be the heel, can he?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we're just playing a Moto TDSL match, and he wished me good luck, and then. All right. Well, Steve did not get there.
Daylight and a dollar short on that Scorpion God.
Yeah. Close one, though.
Yep. Oh, boy. Karma rewarded.
I don't know. Steve's a pretty nice guy, I think.
No, Steve's extremely nice. I just meant that Reed is the nicest. It wasn't meant as a slight on Steve at all.
Fair enough. So, do you think either player is going to sideboard extensively here?
I don't know. Reed's looking at the deck list.
Yeah. We're both definitely looking at deck lists. Seeing, Steve might bring in some flyers or something. Reed, my experience, my match against Reed was that he's very good at gumming up the ground. But, other than his 2 ambuscades, he can't really deal with, evasive creatures and his two Avens.
Yeah, those Bone Slashers look quite bad. I mean, they can't really attack or block against a lot of Reed's cards.
They do nothing.
Yeah.
So I would definitely not have that card in my deck. Like even like, Wretched Camel's better because you can, when you chump block, like you can get some value out of it or something.
Right.
Looks like Steve's going to keep it in his deck. Hope that maybe on the play he'll be able to get in. And I think we're going to get back to the match. So Steve looks like again has to mulligan, but his hand looks much better. Reed's hand seems fine, but a bit slow.
Yeah, very slow.
I kind of hope that this game, maybe the Scorpion God makes an appearance.
He made an appearance last game.
Yeah, on the battlefield, though.
You don't have to draw it every time.
Never actually got cast.
Come on, man. Be reasonable. He could have been cast. Steve chose to concede over casting him.
That is true. He didn't want to show any more cards.
Yeah, exactly.
So Reed gets to cast his planning, setting up his future land drops with his Exvader, except that he didn't hit any lands.
Yeah, he's got plenty, though. No problem.
No, he's in the Mega Oracle should... Ooh, that was a good draw.
The Weaver?
I think it's possible that he plays the 2/3 anyways, though. I
think that's what I would do if I were him.
Yeah. He's like that 2 extra mana doesn't actually change anything the following turn because he can't actually double spell anyways. So
no, and also he can just play the 2/4 and get lands in his graveyard that way too.
Yeah. Steve again having a little bit of mana problems here.
Yeah, which is lucky because the Frontline Devastator would be quite good here.
Yeah. Instead, he's going to really just get to... I mean, he could try and cycle and hit a land and then play his 2-drop, but I'm not really a fan of that. I think if you're gonna draw the land next turn, then you're going to have 4 mana, which is all you need anyways, and it's more important to get your guy into play in case you're going to miss. But
Steve disagrees.
Looks like Steve disagrees, yeah. I guess he's planning to hit multiple land drops all the way up to Inferno Jet, and it worked out for him.
And cast it.
Yeah. And then attack and...
Reed, I think this 2/4 does a reasonable job of just completely holding down the fort now, though.
Yeah. I think so, too. Steve's first striker doesn't really look too good here against 7 toughness on the other side.
No, it doesn't. Let's see if Reed hits any lands.
Now you're just being greedy.
I'm just giving the people something to talk about.
I guess.
I agree. He hit the Ash Up Oasis.
Good value there.
An Oasis Ritualist. I would argue that you should be able to play the Oasis, the Ritualist, and the Gift of Paradise from the graveyard.
Just for flavor value?
Yeah.
It's a reasonable stance.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this game's starting to look pretty good for Reed, but I mean, Steve does have a reasonable amount of burn. He's got some good draws in his deck. Ambuscade is definitely a good card for Reed to have kept on top, I think.
Reed is probably somewhat obligated to play the 3/2, I think, just to not have to double block a Fire Breather.
Yeah. Though Steve only has the 1 red source, so it's not actually...
Yeah, it's true. So if he were to draw a Mountain, though...
He still couldn't kill both, so...
Yeah, I guess he could block with any 2. I guess maybe he's better off to play like a Weaver and a 2/1 or something. I don't think he needs to leave up Ambuscade this turn.
Right. I think like next turn if he has the Weaver in play, he'll just have Ambuscade up like incidentally.
Yep.
So that looks like what Reed is deciding to do, or is he going to hold up the Ambuscade?
Looks like he decided to hold it up.
So I guess, do you think Reed is going to cast it before blocks?
I can't imagine he will block the Afflict creature in it, but...
Right. I mean, if you're holding up Ambuscade here, you're likely going to cast it on...
I agree. I mean, maybe he's trying to induce Steve into making some larger attack where he gets some other value, but Steve doesn't even attack at all. Reed doesn't cast his ambuscade, so.
Reed gets to cast 2 spells again if he wants to, or he can again play the Weaver and hold up.
I would think if he didn't.
Yeah. Right. I think he's going to hold it up again. The other thing is also he doesn't know what Steve's card is, and he could feel that his bluff of countervailing winds or something is preventing Steve from playing the Scorpion God. So
nah, Steve would have played it on turn 5.
Yeah, he would have just slammed it as soon as he could.
Reed knows that too, but whatever. I mean, it does still look like countervailing winds, and Reed does have 2 of them, so
Steve has to be somewhat afraid. But on the other hand, there's nothing much he can do, especially with the Weaver out now. Reed's going to be able to hold up 3 mana the rest of the game.
Yeah. Steve's going to cast it.
Looks like it.
Respect.
Pow. 1 damage, and another 6. Reed's down to 8, and if only life totals were an indicator of who was winning in a game of Magic here, we would have been pretty good thing. But as it looks, I think you've got to really like Reed's spot here. I think.
Yeah, he's pretty far ahead. I mean, also when he's able to get both those Avens out with the Hash Up Oasis going, they're going to kill very quickly.
Yeah. Steve doesn't have much time. Like even if he draws Scorpion God, Reed's going to be able to kill it off, and then Steve will have to recast it. And in the meantime, he's taken 10 damage. And then
Reed didn't leave up Ambuscade anymore.
No, he decided to play both his Avens. I guess knowing Steve was hellbent, but he might get punished this turn. Actually.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wonder what I don't know. I wonder what happens if Steve attacks with a lot of creatures. Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to do. Look at, like, obviously a 2/1 gets probably is blocked by the 2/3. Then you get like 3/3 blocked by 3/2, 2/2 blocked by 2/1 or something, and then 3/3 blocks the Fire Breather. I don't know. It is a little annoying for your Reed.
Could look like an unsummon also.
Yeah, it could, but I think Steve's at the point where he sees the Oasis, he sees the 2 Avens. Okay, he decides to cast.
I would think that precludes an attack. I would think if you were going to attack, you'd want to final reward whatever block the Devastator.
Right. I think that's the play I would have done. I think like maybe Steve is playing around on Unsummon, but I don't think he can actually beat an Unsummon along with these Aven. At least I mean there's just 1 now, but it's still a very fast clock.
Yeah, I mean there can all it was a final reward, yeah, so no ability to embalm. I wonder if Reed will go ahead and just fire off one of the ambuscades on the Devastator. I would consider it.
Yeah, I think I would now that you have the second one.
Yeah, you still get to leave one up with the Oasis.
Yes, with the Oasis, yeah,
and the Weaver.
Yeah, I think Steve should have just attacked with all his creatures last turn.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think now it's kind of all slipping away. It wasn't great for him either, but because Reed probably would have seen through it, but Reed somehow made some poor blocks, and Steve would get to sneak some points in with the Afflict.
Yep.
Do you think Steve has any outs here? Certainly, 3/3.
Scorpion God right there might have done it. Because Reed doesn't have a creature in play that's capable of.
He does with the.
Oh yeah, you're right. He does. Yeah, so maybe it wouldn't have. Well,
it would be exactly 7, and then another 6. So.
Yeah, you're right. Without the island in play, I'm not sure that there's anything Steve could draw now.
Yeah. I mean, he needs to get rid of reads flyer or his. I mean, this actually even the excavator getting rid of that doesn't do anything, so it has to be flyer. Yeah, I don't see it happening. So it looks like.
Well, Steve doesn't have a removal spell even just to kill the flyer.
I think I guess he has to draw 2 removal spells. I guess.
Yeah, not great.
He draw.
He has 2 puncturing blow.
Yeah, yes. He can draw puncturing blow. He can stay alive.
Oh, there's Scorpion God. You got your wish. It made an appearance.
Yeah, right. And then with that ambuscade, that's going to be it. So I believe that the next match is Owen and I, and then you and Siggy the final match.
Yep, sounds right.
So I guess it's my job to try and prevent you from having to play. I'll try and do my best.
All right, let him have it, killer slug champ. I'm really excited to bring my 04s to the finals. And 05s, for that matter. So it's you and Owen. Owen probably has the best deck in the draft. You probably have the best deck on your team. Then me and Siggy.
Yep.
Easy game.
Easy game, yeah.
We basically always play match 9, so.
Yeah, you're used to that. I don't
think
we haven't gotten to play match 9 yet. So
it's fun. All right, we're going to cut to ads, then we'll be back for Alex and Owen.
Looking for a challenge? Magic Online offers monthly limited and constructed events, which lead to the yearly Magic Online Championship. Download Magic Online at mtgo.com and start earning the points you need to enter. Check out Hour of Devastation booster draft leagues on Magic Online. Draft anytime, play anytime. Available now. For more information, visit mtgo.com. HasCon is happening September 8th through 10th in Providence, Rhode Island. HasCon will be hosting a Magic the Gathering Iconic Masters release event, 25th anniversary drafts, Magic spell slinging, and all your favorites from the world of Hasbro. Join the family.
Welcome back. We're deep into the finals of the Team Draft Super League here. I'm Reed Duke. With me is Mike Sigrist. How you doing, Mike?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. This is exciting.
It is.
You guys had a good start, but we're battling back. Does it make you nervous to know that already twice in the Team Draft Super League we have won in game number 3 of match number 9?
No, that doesn't make me nervous.
Okay.
You guys make me nervous, but
is it true that you're the you would be the deciding match if my team ties the score here?
I'll be playing Huey if Owen defeats Hayne here in this round.
Okay. Well, that should be a good battle. We really need Owen to come through with the 3-0. I got my 1 win, and now I'm just going to leave it up to my teammates to do the rest. But yeah, so far Owen's 2-0. He's had it. He's got a pretty good white-green aggressive deck, and it's been going well so far for him. We tuned in just in time to your match to see Nissa's defeat on Sandworm Convergence.
Yeah, I kicked myself for that one. I think I took a Traveler's Amulet over it, which ended up in my deck, but I was considering between the two. But yeah, I knew it was coming.
Yeah, you got me with the Sandworm Convergence pretty good.
Yeah, it's a busted card.
Yeah. So, how happy were you guys with your 3 decks?
I was pretty happy. I thought Steve would do a little better. His deck was kind of awkward. Like, he had like a pretty aggressive deck with creatures that couldn't block in Nicole Bolas, which is not really the best compliment in a deck like that. But he had the Scorpion God, so can't really.
Yeah. All right, well, without further ado, let's go watch Owen Turtenwald versus Alexander Hayne. This is for the Peach Garden Oath to keep their hopes alive in the Team Draft Super League. Welcome back for tonight's 8th match. We haven't updated the borders yet, but what we're watching is Owen Turtenwald on the bottom for Peach Garden Oath against Alexander Hayne on the top. And currently, Dem Boyz are up 4-3, which means if Alexander Hayne wins this match, it's all over. You guys are the champions.
Yeah, looks like Hayne and Owen both have 2-land hands. Owen's on the play, which I think is a huge advantage in this matchup specifically. Ooh, Owen coming right out of the gates.
Yeah.
Cartouche on the Sacred Cat.
Building his own Baneslayer Angel, as he likes to say.
I mean, that's going to be pretty formidable.
Yeah, Alex has 1.5 3 toughness creatures that he can use to try to block. But blocking in general is not what his deck wants to be doing.
No, not at all.
And of course, Owen can still get the life swing here by attacking into a 1/3.
Yep. Hayne's going to need to hit his land drops. If he can puncturing blow that Sacred Cat, which sounds pretty awkward, he'll be in much better shape.
So it looks like Owen's got a good start, but what's his long-term plan here?
I think his plan is to just keep milking out value with the Ketris Monument, maybe win with Wing Shepherd. Hayne is full of spells though, so like Hayne is full of spells, so he can keep up with the Ketris Monument. Oof. Hayne misses his land drop, but as of right now, the Nimble Blade is going to prevent Owen from attacking. Owen has to cycle away a white creature, which is good news for us. Oof. Huge draw for Owen there. He gets to pump up the cat now.
Yeah, wow. Do you agree with his decision to cycle the Shepherd before the Renunciation?
I don't know. I think no. But I can see where he's coming from because this matchup is very racy, but his life total is so padded that I think... Well, maybe he's just looking for a way to break through.
Yeah, he might figure he's going to make all these 1/1 tokens, but they're going to be pretty useless if Hayne just leaves 1 or 2, high toughness blockers.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's thinking.
Ooh, man, the hits keep coming for Owen.
Yeah, Owen just gets to attack right into... could Alpha Strike. I guess if he Alpha Strikes here, Hane might figure out what he has and might just put the Nimble Blade on a Warrior instead of making the and just block both Warriors and then kind of force Owen to use his trick anyways. So I guess
they do have deck lists. So Hane blocking the 4 toughness creature on a 1 power creature makes a lot of sense. It would minimize the damage of something like this.
Yeah. Let's see if Hane sniffs it out.
But Owen knows Alex's deck list also. He knows about double unsummon, so he really does want to take an opportunity while Alex is tapped out to use his combat tricks.
Yeah. That's exactly what happens here.
So will Owen save the Warrior that's being blocked by Kenra, or just cash it in for another 4-point life swing on the Sacred Cat?
I suspect he'll just save the Warrior because he does have the Renunciation to push through for more damage later with it as well, and just kind of maybe use that on a turn that's not lethal. So the next turn he's wide enough that he can actually just win with that. Let's see. Hane plays an aerial guide. Definitely planning on unsummoning the Sacred Cat this turn if anything goes wrong here.
So Owen declaring his creatures as attackers and tapping the blockers. Unsummon will
here.
buy Hane a little bit of life, but it does represent an extra warrior.
He's thinking about it. Maybe considering holding it up for a turn that he can activate Riddle Form and block. That looks like what he's doing.
I do like the way that Owen navigated this. It was a little unintuitive to use a synchronized strike when he did, but it's just so important in the face of 2 unsummons to be able to do it when the opponent's tapped out. So I agree with doing it sooner rather than later, even if it meant not playing the Ronus' Stalwart right away.
So Hane kills the Resilient Kenra for good.
Oh,
wow.
Man. That should be lethal even through the unsummon.
Yep. Ketra's Monument's just been doing work for Owen.
Yeah. There's this phenomenon when I watch Oketra's Monument in action is players never really have like a normal hand. Like they always miss their land drop and they have a handful of like 5 creatures. I've never seen someone just have opening hand of like 5 lands, 1 creature, and an Oketra's Monument.
Yeah. Well, usually they're playing less land in decks like that, right? But
yeah, that's fair.
Still.
All right, so Owen right away. Man, he takes out the 2 cards that just won him that game: Sacred Cat and Cartouche's Solidarity.
I suspect Owen will be going right to that Slither Blade as he always does. I like decision paralysis. I think he probably should have indecked it in his deck, honestly.
Yeah, he could have used, I think, 1 more spell.
Yeah. He's looking at that Slither Blade again.
Did you guys tell him not to put it in his main deck, and then he's just been boarding it in every time?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is pretty reasonable. He's lowering his curve so that he can keep up with Owen. The 5/5 Hexproof's literally never going to come into play. He's going to cycle it 100% of the time. So
now he's taking out his mythic rare Hour of Eternity. Is that just like you said to try to keep pace a little better?
Yeah, it's basically in this matchup going to be a 5-drop that requires him to have a creature in the graveyard that costs triple. So it's not exactly where he wants to be. So I do agree with him taking that out. Now all he has to do is find the removing that Silver Blade, and he's good.
And Owen's brought in Stinging Shot, which works against Riddle Form, Aerial Guide, and a creature that's enchanted by Blue Cartouche. That seems worthwhile.
Yeah, nimble obstructionist as well.
Oh, yep. You're absolutely right. Whose side do you like in this matchup?
I think that Owen's deck's a little better, but I think like if Hayne had won the die roll, that would be a good spot to be in. They're both like super aggressive decks, tight low curves, and I think whoever's attacking is going to be winning.
So Owen down to 6, keeping 6, and an interesting scry looking at appeal to authority.
Yeah, he's got to bottom that. Just needs creatures. I suspect we'll see him cycle his Jaru's Renunciation.
Yeah, I think so.
Though Owen does have a tendency, as you know, to hold on to those spells a little longer than most.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Haynes' big sideboard card shows its face, Honed Kopesh. It looks pretty good here.
Yeah, he's going to choose to play it to pump up his Nimble Blade, attack for 2, and then play his Cunning Survivor. This way, if he draws a land next turn, he's able to also just equip the Honed Kopesh and play Aerial Guide. Oof. Stinging Shot's going to line up pretty nicely against the Aerial Guide here.
Yep. But Owen's still a little behind on resources, and the Kopesh,
well,
as weak as it looks, it is going to make Haynes' creatures match up well against Owen's.
Maybe we'll just see.
All right, Alex, I think you should save the Aerial Guide. Next turn, try to go Aerial Guide Cartouche real fast and get in for 3 haste damage.
Go fast. I think he's going to... Good attack from Alex there.
Yeah, it was a bluff.
A sneak a point by Owen. Owen's obviously just going to fire off the Stinging Shot here.
Good draw for Owen. Owen's in an okay spot. He just needs to make sure he doesn't flood from here. Because the problem with these white-green weenie decks is sometimes the cards are a bit low impact, so being down a card and drawing a few reactive spells, he just has to make sure he keeps some gas in the tank.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting turn for Hayne here. Assume he's just going to add to the board with the Sinuous Striker.
Yeah, Hayne had a good start, and he's got a stacked hand, but the fact that he's missing land drops means he actually has to think about whether he wants to be attacking or blocking.
Mm-hmm. Also, that Rona Stalwart is just going to be unblockable as long as that Dauntless Haven's in play. So Owen's going to, unless Alex does something crazy like play Cartouche on a creature, equip it with Honed Kopesh, and not attack with it, then Alex is
we're in more or less a racing situation then, huh?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Ooh, great draw for...
Yeah, that's a card that's good for racing. So he'll probably not play the planes here then, right?
Yeah, I guess he would. I'm guessing he would certainly not play the planes, especially because he doesn't have like another land in hand or a Winged Shepherd to like be able to cast it if he draws it.
So Owen perfectly happy to trade Binding Mummy for Sinuous Striker there.
Ooh. That's a pretty good draw for Alex if it can get him to another land. it's obviously going to line up pretty poorly against the farm to market.
Yeah, so I have to imagine Alex will try to leave a flyer on defense.
Yeah, I would assume that's what he'll do. I can't see what he's targeting with it. All right, he's targeting the survivor. Probably going to equip the home Kopesh. Oh, he's just going to get in for 3? Oh, he's leaving back both of his creatures. Another good draw for Owen there.
Yeah, Owen's deck has certainly delivered in this match. These players actually playing for a 3-0.
Yeah,
Hayne is also 2-0 so far. Me and Mike and Huey and Steve are just scrapping it out for wins while we're seeing which team can be carried by their best player.
What just go? Oh, the better go sharper, sharpshooter. Oof, good draw from Owen. Suspect that'll bring an alpha attack. Yep. Yeah, Haynes just going to block like this because he can't get blown out by Synchronized Strike. He can only get one creature eaten.
But yeah, he really wants to kill the Dauntless Haven, so he's not going to be happy to see Farm take out his only flying blocker there.
No, not.
And given that he has not drawn an answer to the Dauntless Haven, this is going to be troublesome.
Yep. I think this turn he'll just play his Manticore because it can profitably block both ground creatures.
So yeah, Owen might have to wait out the Manticore because it does have to attack each turn of Fable. So he might not attack with any ground
take
creatures.
One turn off from attacking with. He'll just attack with the Dauntless Haven for 2, and then.
Although at that point he's starting to play a dangerous game because Haynes' deck can unload a lot of damage fast. He's got the Ramanop Ruins. He's got the Cartouche of Zeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is possible that Hayne could swing the race in his favor. We'll see what happens over the next 2 turns.
Going to require some pretty good draws from Hayne.
I can imagine like Owen gets hit once with the Manticore. Hayne finds an unsummon to survive on the crucial turn. Mm-hmm. Then like suddenly Owen has to block, but it's tough because of the Afflict. I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like we may have lost Hayne. Didn't he draw that mountain and play it? Or am I mistaken?
It's possible.
Yeah, and then it kind of froze in his screen or something.
Well, in the meantime, how do you like your matchup against Huey?
I think it'll be close. Huey's, my deck's kind of slow, so Huey can kind of grind me out with Torment of Scarabs, or he's got an answer to Sandworm Convergence in Consigned to Oblivion on the splash, and he's got a couple flyers, so I think it'll be a close match. I think my deck's better, but Huey's Huey. He always finds a way to win, so.
Yeah. I could see Owen just crashing in with everything because Hayne will have to block both ground creatures to survive, and then the Synchronized Strike can leave the blue-red deck with an empty board. Which that is sort of the...
Yeah. Especially when he's drawn enough, he's drawn another way to win the game, too. All of his draws are pretty live. I think this is a good attack from Owen here.
Yeah, it leaves less uncertainty.
Yep. We'll have to be in the dark with this draw phase here, it seems. We know that Hane has a Spellweaver Eternal and a Cartouche of Zeal in his hand. And the other card is a mystery. I don't really know if Alex has too much to come back here.
Well, now that we can't see his draw step, it could be anything.
Yeah.
Invocation Jokel Hops or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, Open Fire is the best card I can think of that he could draw.
Yeah, killing the Aven is a start. It would also allow him to play 2 spells in the same turn.
Yep.
It's actually going to be annoying for him to fight through the Sunscourge champion.
Yes, it is. He doesn't have his cartouche anymore, the blue cartouche anymore, so Spellweaver Eternal can't really get through it. I mean, I guess it can. It's a 4/3 when it has the cartouche and the Kopesh on it, but oop. Alex drew something. Oh, he's just discarding the Spellweaver Eternal to bring this thing back.
All right, Owen, a couple more hits with flyers.
Yeah, it's a really awkward spot for Hane because with the Wing Shepherd in hand, he needs to draw 2 removal spells quickly.
All things considered, that was a pretty good turn sequence for Hane. You stabilized the ground. Owen didn't draw a land or a potent spell. He just drew like a ground creature that's not going to be able to get through.
Yep.
So that was minimal damage, but like you said, Hane still just needs to find answers to these flyers. Jeez.
Yeah. Cycling 1. He's got a lot of win the game draws here.
Realistically, I don't think Owen can afford to go for it there.
No, I don't think he needs to cycle the second one. Especially he knows that, oh wow, good draw from Hane. Unfortunately, he's at a pretty low life total, and he's not going to be really able to turn the corner for a long time because of that. And we'll probably just eventually die to this Winged Shepherd.
Yeah, I am surprised Owen cycled so quickly.
Well, he knew Appeal to Authorities on the bottom, right? He bottomed that at the beginning of this game.
Oh wow, that's good thinking.
I don't even think he had that many draws.
If you look at things from the perspective of like, okay, Hane just passed with open mana, he's only really going to get back in the game if he kills the Dauntless Aven. Yeah. Then I feel like you feel more secure if you have 2 flyers in reserve.
Yeah, I agree. Especially at the life total that Hane's at and Owen's at. It's going to be tough for Hane to turn the corner.
Well, this is getting exciting now that we don't know Alex's hand. Wow, Owen Turnwald takes it.
All right.
4-4, Mike. Yeah. It's I don't envy your position having the whole series, the whole league.
The whole league. Me versus Huey.
All the marbles, as they say. Mike Sigrist versus William Jensen.
Oh, it'll be
okay, well, that's it for me for tonight. But when we come back, Mike is going to be battling the final match number 9, the finals of Team Draft Super League. See you there.
Looking for a challenge? Magic Online offers monthly limited and constructed events, which lead to the yearly Magic Online Championship. Download Magic Online at mtgo.com and start earning the points you need to enter. Check out Hour of Devastation booster draft leagues on Magic Online. Draft anytime, play anytime. Available now. For more information, visit mtgo.com. HasCon is happening September 8th through 10th in Providence, Rhode Island. HasCon will be hosting a Magic the Gathering Iconic Masters release event, 25th anniversary drafts, Magic spell slinging, and all your favorites from the world of Hasbro. Join the family.
Hello and welcome. I don't know about you, Steve, but I wouldn't want it any other way. It comes down to the 9th and final match of the finals. How are you feeling about this?
I feel fine. Same as you. It's pretty cool for it to come down to the last match. It's a bit of a sweat because we started off strong, but it's all right. We'll see. I think Siggy's got a decent shot at winning this one.
Yeah, I mean, Dem Boyz was up 3-1 and then 4-2. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But Owen Turtenwald has single-handedly brought PGO back. He only dropped one game en route to a 3-0.
Yeah, that Kettra's Monument is just so sick. He had a great deck. He had Ron as a stalwart pretty much every time on turn 2, and great curve. Yeah, he kind of just sliced through us, honestly.
You can't win a team draft all by yourself, though. Owen may be 3-0, but Reed got one win. He's 1-2. That means Huey has to get a match win. He hasn't won a game yet today. He went 0-2-0-2 for the 0-2-1 matches so far, but he was in this exact seat last week in the semifinals. People said, his matchup against Sam Black is terrible. Huey, he was supposed to beat Justin, but Justin upset him. Now Huey's going to 0-3. They're going to lose. No, it's Huey. And that's what I keep seeing in chat. People are
he'll find a way.
It's Huey. He's going to find a way to eke out the one win he needs to put his team out to the 5th win. Awesome.
Yeah,
that's great stuff.
Yeah, we'll see if Huey can do it again. I mean, that would be great. If Siggy takes it down, either way, it's going to be a great final match, I'm sure. If we win, we win. I'll be happy. But if we lose, you got to hand it to PGO and Huey for fighting it out to the bitter end every week that they're on. So it's kind of exciting.
It's only the 3rd time we've gotten to match 9 all season, and all 3 have involved PGO. It was Owen in the anchor seat beating Scottsdale Foundation back during the regular season. It was Huey last week. Just, man, unbelievable. This whole season has been fun. I've certainly had a blast putting this together, watching the matches. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching it. And I got to agree with you. Siggy's deck looks a little better on paper, but...
Yeah, and actually, Huey's been choosing to draw against Alex. He was choosing to draw, I think, because he's got the Reckoning, which is his best card, which is better on the draw, and he thinks his deck's just a little bit weak. So, we'll see if he can... If Siggy wins... We don't see the die rolls, but we'll see who ends up on the player draw, I don't know exactly what's going to happen.
I feel like it's 95% to be Huey on the draw.
Yeah, I think that Mike probably will choose to play anyway, but I guess we're ready to go, and we'll get you down to game 1 here in a second.
Let's do it. All right, one match for all the marbles. Siggy's got 2 lands and a Traveler's Amulet. That looks fine. Huey has a motley collection of black and white cards, but that's kind of what his deck does.
Yeah, I mean, you look, every hand is kind of like this for Huey. He does have his one of his Scrounger of Souls, which is kind of arguably one of his best cards because his deck just can't really win, without a Torment of Scarabs or a Scrounger at some point. Looks like Huey's going to lead off on a Wretched Camel, and or sorry, not Huey. Siggy is, and we're off. It looks like Huey has all 3 of his colors, and he's got a bunch of lifelinking creatures. I don't know if that's exactly where he needs to be in this matchup. So Siggy also has a reasonable draw, but he's a bit stumbling, and he's going to have to fetch for a forest, which means he's going to have to draw the red. Yeah. And we're probably going to see a Moaning Wall cycle, which is mostly why they're in the deck, but...
Bontu's Last Reckoning.
Bontu's Last Reckoning is good. If Huey's going to win these games, it's probably going to involve a Bontu's Last Reckoning at some point. So the fact that he already has it is really nice because he can kind of sculpt the game towards a Bontu's Last Reckoning at some point. Mm-hmm. It's going to lead off on the Aven.
It's always tricky. How do you set up a Bontu's Last Reckoning, right? I mean, if he just does nothing, Siggy's going to know what's up, especially since he knows it's in Huey's deck. Oh,
yeah,
tricky.
yeah, it is very tricky. I mean, I think he wants to play the Aven. The best way to do it oftentimes is to bait out removal, where your opponent can maybe do something. But he actually has a Manalith and a Torment of Scarabs both in his hand, so he can kind of potentially just keep committing to the board without committing creatures to the board.
Right.
And Manalith synergizes somewhat with the Bonte's Reckoning because it does untap on the extra turn, which is actually pretty big. But it looks like he's just going to go play out his creatures.
Glory-bound Initiate joins the fray.
Yeah, he figures the Glory-bound Initiate is if Siggy has one of his Torment of Scarabs or Trial or Ambuscade, I think he's just going to use it. So I think that's Huey's plan here. And he's got his hand's actually really good. Both players. I mean, Siggy's a little bit stuck on lands, doesn't have a second green source. So I actually think Huey's favored here for the moment. Wow. And obviously the Aven plus Initiate requires some sort of removal spell. Siggy has it, of course, but...
All right, Siggy attacks in.
And he's probably going to kill the Initiate, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huey had no interest in trading, wants to make sure Mike does have a removal spell to break up his combo. Mike shows him Trial of Zeal.
Mm-hmm. And he's still got the Bontu's Last Reckoning, and he's getting low, but he does have two lifelink creatures and kind of the pseudo-vigilance Aven. So I think that it's not he's low, but he's not really uncomfortably low yet.
Yeah, 3/4 lifelink on the ground seems pretty good on this board.
Mm-hmm. Looks like we're going to see Grizzly Survivor, which is nice because Huey can't actually attack into it as long as Mike holds up mana, because it's representing a 4/3 blocker. Now Huey needs to kind of start figuring out what he wants to do with his Bonte's Reckoning, because if he keeps playing creatures, it could end up being really awkward if Siggy puts one big creature down and then he's forced to kind of kill more stuff than he wants to. He does have the Torment of Scarabs, so that's potentially what we're going to see this turn. If
that was
not,
my guess.
If not, he might. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do. He could just play two creatures, but yeah, it looks like Torment's coming down.
Yeah, I think he's hoping for a removal spell out of Mike and or another creature or two out of Mike.
Yeah, and Siggy just goes to his turn without cycling, which is interesting because I think if he draws a force, he gets to just play the Hippo, which dominates the board, and if not, he still gets to hold up the Hippo. So he wants to actually have the Cycler in case he needs to get into combat with the Survivor.
Traveler's Amulet is the draw for Mike, so does have access to a second green mana, but not this turn. Not with 6 mana this turn. Trial of Zeal is pretty good food for Torment.
Yeah, it's like a free turn because he has got no cartouches in his deck, so there's no reason for him to keep it around. So we'll see what he does. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to try to go for a Sifter Worm. I don't know. I feel like that'll likely force the Bontu's Reckoning on its own. So it's going to be interesting whether he wants to cycle the Hippo to try to find the 7th land or just kind of play it a little slow. Like, he's got some life total to work with, but, the Dauntless Aven and the Torment of Scarabs are kind of whittling him down. So he's actually going to attack. I think there's looks like a Snap Block, which is I like it because it forces Siggy to use his mana. Right. Which Huey doesn't know exactly what's in his hand. He figures expensive spells at the very least.
I mean, look, if Huey can trade a creature in play for a card, that's just setting up that Bontu's Last Reckoning, right? If he just wants to get value, and then now Mike's obviously going to follow up with something here. Yeah,
I mean, Huey does still have the Reckoning, but the Camel is actually reasonable against the Reckoning. It does take one creature with it. And it looks like this might be the turn. I don't know if it's going to get better for him, but he could wall up and play another flyer. Huh. Oh, yeah. Actually, he drew the Desert. So now he's got 2 Avens plus the wall, that's 7 damage a turn. So
Dauntless Aven with the wall?
Yeah.
That's how he's going to win this game?
Yeah, and this is something that actually is I've seen some Pantheon members draft to it. Like Andrew Cuneo likes to draft wall plus Dauntless Aven decks. It's kind of the pseudo exert. Yeah, no, and now, Siggy's gonna be forced to probably Sifter Worm, but it's kind of it's still weird to me because like if he needs to draw exactly a forest this turn, and if he doesn't, he's essentially on a 2-turn clock. So it's a big draw step for Siggy. I'm wondering if he should have just not played the Charioteer and tried to ensure he was going to get a Sifter Worm this turn. Gonna sack the Camel because he figures, it doesn't really do much on the ground anyway.
He's got to sack something.
Yeah, and he draws a Supernatural Stamina, which...
Note that Huey saw it coming and held the desert back.
Yeah, this allows Mike to attack and take out the wall, which is actually pretty nice for him. It's not quite as good as drawing a forest, but it does get the immediate 2-turn clock off the board.
Sure, Huey puts the wall in combat.
He might not. He might not. I mean, it's only 5 damage, and if he goes to 10, he does have the Camel. So if he's playing the Camel next turn, that gives him a little bit of a life swing back because he has lifelink now. So it's actually a very good play from Huey to just not block and put Mike on the 2-turn clock. Good stuff for sure. The Sifter Worm, though, let's think. So it's going to be 7 and then potentially 7. He's going to need a big card. I mean, if Mike can hit something like a Spring to Mind, obviously that might be what he's looking for a huge life gain. But yeah, the Torments of Scarabs. I actually think that Siggy is just. I'm not gonna say he's drawing dead, but it's tough for me to imagine a scenario where he wins this game because if he taps out for the Sifter Worm, Huey can just, bash in for a bunch of damage and then play the Reckoning, and then he just has the Torment of Scarabs to kind of lock out Mike here.
All right, there's the ping from the wall. There's the 2 Dauntless Aven attacks.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to deal 1 more.
Points at the wall, gets to tap in between the triggers, wind up with an untapped 0-4, and 4 power worth of flyers.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to play the Camel or not. Looks like he is. Looks like he's just not...
Yeah, Bantu's Last Reckoning is not the way this game worked out.
Yeah,
he saw an opening, and he's going to go for it. Huey has effectively said check. He wins this game next turn unless something drastic changes. Oh, geez.
There's a Sandworm Convergence, but he's actually 1 mana off it.
Yep.
Which is interesting because he's got to gain life with the Sifter Worm to not die, but that means he's not drawing a land for the Sandworm Convergence.
You are
so
correct.
It's actually not a good draw. I mean, I think he would prefer to draw. I don't know what he would prefer to draw, but that actually doesn't save him.
The way Huey set this game up is really hard for Sandworm Convergence to matter.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to play Sifter Worm and see what your cards are, right? Is there what else can Siggy
there isn't really anything that I can. I mean, that's his only play.
You have to represent something, right? Like Huey didn't want to block last turn, but somehow Siggy has to trick him into blocking.
Yeah, he's going to 5, then there's 7 more damage, so he needs to hit something that costs. I think the only way I can imagine Siggy winning is if there's Spring Mind on top and he can gain 9. Because we have to remember that Huey is at 10, so the Sifter Worm plus his beatdown that he already has is kind of effective. And he's going to start off with an attack and an exert, which is probably just going to get snap blocked by the Camel, I imagine. I'm surprised that he wouldn't attack with both.
Well, what if Huey takes it? Now the Camel's attacking.
Yeah, I guess Huey is just going to block the wall on the Charioteer no matter what, so it actually makes sense not to attack. I don't know what I was saying there. So, yep, there's a snap block. He's going to 13.
Yep.
And we're going to get a Sifter Worm. See what we end up revealing.
Couldn't quite see. We saw a little.
He doesn't have an 8-drop. He has a 9-drop and then Spring to Mind. Well, that kind of is exactly what he needed because it's his 8th land for Sandworm Convergence and he's gaining 9 life. So he hit what he needed.
Wow.
See if Huey draws a Consign. Wow, that's an insane draw. Because that'll allow him to potentially just not care about the Sandworm Convergence. So let's think. How does this game play out? We attack for 4 or 5. So Mike's going down to 8 life here. And we're spring locked, kind of, because we're drawing spring and it doesn't accomplish anything. He's going to be able to fetch up the 8th land, of course.
Yeah.
But now the bounce spell just makes it so that he can bounce the Convergence on the next turn, and then I think still swing for the win. Not entirely sure that's right, though, because Siggy gets to attack. Is it a win next turn? I don't think so. Siggy's going to go to 7 end of turn, and then he can attack for, exactly 7. Yeah,
2, 4, and then 1, 1, 1.
That's what I was saying. Like, the Spring Mine, like, it just doesn't seem like it does anything because he hits so hard.
One extra turn worth of life, but now he has to. But the downside is he has to draw Spring to Mind.
Yeah, not to mention that the Torment. I even forgot that Siggy has to discard this Sandworm Convergence. That's what I was saying. The Spring to Mind just wasn't an out, even though it was kind of exciting to gain 9 for a second. I just don't think Siggy had outs at this point in the game. So I'm pretty sure we're locked to see a game 2 here. We're going to see. Of course, we're going to see a game 2, but Siggy's going to be down a game. Which I think this is a game that Siggy wanted to win because I don't know exactly what Huey has in his sideboard, but I think he gets the side out like some of his God Pharaoh's Faithful and cards that are kind of anti-aggro. I mean, he doesn't have much, but he can side in maybe a Flyer and some Cyclers and stuff. But
I wonder if these PGO comebacks are a product of having deck lists. Like they've clearly played. They've won a lot more. Their winning percentage in matches where the deck lists are public is significantly higher than in those first round matches. I might just be random. It's pretty small sample size.
Yeah, it is. It does happen over and over. So it feels like it might not be random. It's hard for me to say. You know, I haven't watched every single match of every single game. So yeah, I mean the deck list thing is definitely helps you when you're as elite as the PGO. But you know, I think a lot of the players in this league are good as well and can get almost as much as them, if not more. You know, it really depends on player to player. Some players can have an advantage, some players cannot have an advantage. But yeah, I mean, I think PGO's drafted a lot of slow decks, and I think that might be more relevant. Like when you're playing the slow control-y deck, I think that's better to know your opponent's deck list versus if you're just playing a random aggro deck, you know, that's going to favor you. Like your opponent doesn't know your tricks and whatnot or your bombs. So that could be it as well. But looks like we're going to see an end of turn consign.
Yep.
Siggy just scoops. Yep. And then we're going to go to game 2, of course.
Wow.
Yeah, no, the Huey played it well. And you were saying, like, how do you play a Wrath? And it's like, well, if your opponent's playing around your Wrath. Well, Siggy wasn't because he just played the spells that he could play. Right. And was kind of drawing like tap land / amulets. But a good way to play with your Wrath is sometimes just ignore it because your opponent can't make their best play every turn sometimes because they just get blown out by it. And you can capitalize that every turn by like what Huey did, just play your best creature or your 2 best creatures every turn. And then all of a sudden, for no good reason, you're ahead because they just have to respect it so much. Turns out he did have it. So it's kind of like a catch-22. Looks like Mike is taking a look at the deck lists, seeing what he can do here to increase his chances of winning these next 2 games.
I feel like there were a bunch of ways Huey could have messed up that draw. Maybe not Huey specifically, but like a mortal with that Bantu's Last Reckoning in their opener. You could have just played that game so many different ways. And it's like Huey, I feel like he hedged his bets in the opening. He's like, okay, I'll play this out where maybe I'm going to get ahead on board, or maybe I'm going to get him to overcommit. Siggy didn't overcommit. Huey found a window to just win while ignoring that Wrath. Yeah,
I mean, he played it well, and he did draw like Manolith and Torment, which kind of allowed him to do things while not really doing things, so to speak. And he just, other than that, he only drew like 3 mana creatures, and he just played them all and won the games, which is kind of funny. I guess he drew a consign at the very end, but he didn't actually need it to win.
Did you watch last week's match? against Sandlot?
I watched the last match. I watched the last game of the last match. I just saw the end.
Yeah,
because I heard it was a good game.
The whole match I thought was just amazing. I mean, the last game was particularly good, but I mean, there's that one turn where Huey has like 7 different lines he can try out. The casters have presented 3 or 4 different plausible options. Huey came up with another option that they didn't even see, which was there's this, he cycles, because if he cycles into a cycler, then he has a good attack. And he's kind of a reasonable way to spend his mana anyway. Oh, it's just such a masterclass. I was so enjoyed watching that. It was just really, it's a Hall of Famer at the height of his powers.
Yeah, and it looks like he did get to side out. I think he did side out both the God Pharaohs, the 0-4. Want to see who's on the play this game. Looks like Siggy's got just a medium green-black hand, and Huey's on the mulligan, but should be a good game. He's just going to cycle the Descenders of Deliverance. And he's got the Sandworm Convergence already, so that's something he can work towards. And turn 2 Ronus' Stalwart is, as we've seen from Owen, is just kind of gross sometimes. But the impeccable timing does represent an answer potentially. Probably going to see it just a timing into a stamina, because that's pretty much all Mike has is this Ronus' Stalwart.
Yep, supernatural stamina saves his creature.
Yep, and here is a sideboarded Mind Sensor, so he might not expect this, and he might just not exert, which will probably prompt Huey to just trade, which is kind of interesting. Nope, looks like he's going to take it and just flash it in end of turn. Siggy's got an Amulet, which, he doesn't have the second green for Sandworm, but I can't imagine that he wouldn't get a red source. He's got so many more green sources in his deck that I think that he's probably just going to hedge a little bit and hope that he draws a green source eventually. I guess alternatively, he could just not crack the Amulet for a few turns.
I mean, there is an Aven Mind Sensor in play.
Oh, there is an Aven Mind Sensor in play. I just forgot what that card did.
I mean, it might be in the top 4, right?
Yeah, no, I just if I was playing this game, I would have just cracked it and missed probably. But it is what it is. But yeah, he can wait. If he draws a removal spell, kill the Mind Sensor. Thank you. Yeah, that is pretty embarrassing. That's why Siggy's a little bit better than me at Magic. But looks like Huey just has 2/2/1 flyers, and we don't have a reliable way of getting a red source. And now he's gonna have another flyer. The Sandworm Convergence, if he can hit a land, if it comes down on turn 8, and he hits all of his land drops, I think there is time. If he plays it on turn 8, he's going to take 6 twice, right? It's turn 6 right now.
Sure, you're assuming that Amulet succeeds through Mind Sensor.
Yeah, well, he could also just draw land.
I understand. Well, let's find out.
It looks like he probably missed. Oh, no, he hit.
Oh, he got there.
Which is funny because Siggy actually has a lot of non-basics in his deck, like 4 or something.
Yeah.
But he still needs to draw one more land. Oh, but he drew another Aven, which is the perfect draw because now it's a 1-turner.
2, 4, 6. This is... Wow, I mean, it's not like Siggy's done anything wrong. I know I keep singing Huey's praises. It's not like Sam did anything wrong last week, but Huey keeps finding a way. He's got 8 power worth of flyers. Mike Sigrist is at 8.
Yeah, that's game.
There's no red source for Trial of Zeal.
Nope.
The Amulet couldn't get a mountain. Mind Sensor prevented him from getting a red source that would have actually saved him. He sideboarded in Aven Mind Sensor, a 2-power flyer that he could race with. Maybe he'll hose up.
And the Zenith Seeker as well. I'm pretty sure that wasn't in his main deck. Siggy's going to attack, and that's going to be it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not surprised if the final result of Team Draft Super League is, Peach Garden Oath won. They're the best. They are, without a doubt, the best team. Yeah, he shows his hand. Like, 2 red cards.
We could cast the Sandworm.
2 different red cards and the Convergence. Wow. Peach Garden Oath runs these streets, Steve.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, it was a great league, and it was great to see PGO take the 9th match of 3 different league, or not leagues, sorry, weeks.
3 weeks, unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, like I said, final result, maybe they were the favorites coming in.
Mhm.
I mean, you could make a case for Channel Fireball. I thought those were the 2 favorites, maybe co-favorites, probably PGO if you had to pick one.
Yeah.
But the route that they took to get there was insane. I thought they got out-opened a couple of those weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He just found a way.
Yeah,
These weeks has drafted decks that everybody turned their nose up at. And I think you can see Owen and Reed. They're like, he's got this. He'll find a way.
Yeah, no, I mean, he played it very well. Both this week and last week. I think they're deserving champions. You know, was a close battle every week, but you know they seem to always find a way. So it is what it is, and congrats to them.
You know what, Steve? Congrats to you guys too. Dem Boyz had a hell of a tournament. You guys played great. You got all the way to the finals. I know you were one of the last teams in. The patrons over on Patreon voted you in, wanted to see what you guys could do, and I mean you put up a great fight. But at the end of the day,
it was fun. At the end of the day, PGO takes it down, which, you know, nobody's surprised, but they played well. They drafted well. Kudos to them, man. Seriously.
I'm surprised, given where we were 2 hours ago, even though I'd seen them do it before. They lost the first 6 games.
Yeah. It's team draft, you know. You gotta play it. You gotta play out the full 9 matches. Sometimes you lose the first rounds, you know. It doesn't really change it if you play out all the matches. So it just so happens that they kept it as exciting as possible. Let's put it that way.
Man, that was fun. Yeah,
no, it was a fun league, and I had a fun time playing personally. Hopefully there'll be another one at some point.
I hope so too. All right, guys. I hope you guys had fun. This has been a blast. Team Draft Super League has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But we're done. Hats off to the Peach Garden Oath. They are our Team Draft Super League champions. Come back in 2 weeks. We'll be right back on this channel in 2 weeks. We will be playing Vintage. Brand new format. The latest BNR announcement has shaken things up completely. And I know all 12 of us, myself included, are just dying to get a shot at what Vintage has in store. So come back in 2 weeks. We will see you then. Signing off for Athena Froelich, who's done a great job behind the camera. This is Randy Bueller saying, see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.